You are about to graduate high school and you want to be happy. Get the friends, get the job, get the girl or the boy. You want to be socially accepted when you go out into the world, whether that be to college or work, but you feel like you don't have the social skills to do it. Maybe you chose a school and you're about to attend Accepted Students Day, but you don't know how to act or what to say. If that's you, you are not alone. COVID, and I must say, an air of negativity might make you feel scared to interact with the outside world. Here I'm outlining 3 easy steps to mastering social skills so that you can graduate high school and feel confident that you are not going to be left behind while everyone else seems to see success. If you could use a brush up on social skills fast, then stay tuned here because I have 3 steps that you already know but didn't realize were so important. First, I'll break down each of the 3 steps with depth, real stories, clarifying questions, and possible answers that will help you reflect and prepare. I want to stop you in your tracks and get you thinking deeply and compassionately about the version of yourself you are bringing into new spaces after high school. Then I'll be sticking around to answer your frequently asked questions around social skills and giving you coping mechanisms so you can start to gain confidence before you graduate high school. Remember, these are muscles you haven't learned to use, but you have them already. And I am your personal trainer, helping you exercise those social muscles so that you can be happy, get the friends, get the promotion, get the love. My name is Michele Ehrlich, and I have held many hats as a U.S. Army sergeant, teacher, New York City realtor, and learned to communicate successfully with completely different types of people, negotiate high stakes agreements successfully, and gain friends and respect each and every time. And I'm about to tell you how to do it in these 3 steps because there is a way for you to win every time you open your mouth or walk in a room. You just don't know it yet. Here are your 3 steps to mastering social skills because the real world is hard enough. Don't let hate break you. Step 1, master your inner game. Before you talk to anyone else, talk to yourself. We spend so much energy wondering, will they like me? Will they judge me? Will I sound stupid? But if you don't know how to see yourself, you will let everyone else decide for you. Ask yourself, what am I afraid people will think of me? Let's get real. Here are some answers I've heard from students I've coached. I'm afraid they'll think I'm awkward, that I don't belong there because I'm poor, that I'm too loud or too quiet, that I'm not smart enough, that I don't fit the image of what successful looks like. Be honest with yourself. You can't master what you're too scared to admit. So ask yourself, what assumptions am I making before I even say hello? Sometimes we walk into a room already convinced they won't get me. They're too cool for me. I'm probably the only one who feels nervous. Everyone else already has their life figured out. But what if none of that is true? What if the quiet girl in the back row is also looking for one person to say hi? What if the guy who looks confident is just as anxious as you? We build stories in our heads before we give people a chance to prove or disprove them. Here's a real story. When I was a brand new Army sergeant, I had to walk into strategy briefings with mostly Air Force and mostly men who had way more experience than me. I told myself, they're probably wondering why she is here. I felt it in my body, tight chest, overthinking every word. But then I asked myself, what's actually true about me? Here is what I landed on. I trained hard for this. I care deeply about my team. I may be new, but I bring a fresh perspective. So instead of walking in trying to prove I belonged, I walked in already knowing I did. That mindset shift changed the energy in the room. Reframe your self talk. Instead of, they're going to think I'm weird, try, I don't need everyone to get me. I just need to be myself. Instead of, I have to say the right thing, try, I just need to be present and curious. Instead of, what if they judge me? Try, what if I surprise them? Action step, the sticky note exercise. Write one sentence that grounds you, something you believe or want to believe. For example, I belong here even if I'm still learning. My calm is a superpower. I don't shrink to fit in, I show up to grow. I'm allowed to take up space even when I'm nervous. Put it in your phone, on your mirror, in your wallet, and read it before you enter new rooms, online or in person. Bottom line, you can't control how people act, but you can control how centered, clear, and calm you are. Your inner game is your launch pad. Before you say a single word, decide who you are in the room, because when you're grounded and confident, people feel it, even if they don't understand it right away. Step 2, learn how to read the room. I'm going to go deep into how to actually observe and interpret social dynamics. I want to give you some examples from my professional life and frame it in a way that you can understand and remember and use immediately. Step 2, learn how to read the room. Every room has unspoken rules. Your job isn't to dominate it, it's to read it. This step is about moving smart, not loud. It's about understanding people and energy before you insert yourself. This is not about being paranoid, it's about being strategic. Ask yourself, who is dominating the conversation? Who is getting interrupted or ignored? Who is uplifting others, and who is just trying to be seen? These clues tell you everything about who holds power in a space and who is worth aligning with. Here's a real story. When I was working in high-end New York City real estate, I once met with a client and his 3 advisors. One guy, I'll call him Kevin, he spoke the entire time, loud, confident, showy. I almost started focusing on him, but I paused and I scanned the room. There was an older man sitting quietly in the corner. He asked no questions, but whenever Kevin said something, the client looked at the older man for his reaction. So I shifted. I addressed the quiet man more. I mirrored his pace, made eye contact, and asked for his input. Guess what? He was the client's father, and he was funding the whole thing. Reading the room saved the relationship and closed the deal. What does this mean for you? Let's say you just got your first job at a coffee shop. In the first week, watch how the team interacts. Who trains the new people with patience? Who gossips when the manager walks away? Who actually listens when someone is struggling? Don't just follow the loudest or the funniest. Follow the people who create space for others. That's how you stay safe and grow. So, action step, use the 2-minute scan. Before jumping into any new room, pause. Take 2 minutes to scan the social dynamic. Who's talking? Who's listening? Who interrupts? And who makes people feel heard? Who is giving off warmth and who is performing? Then decide, who do I want to sit near? Who do I want to partner with? Who seems trustworthy even in silence? You don't need to win the room. You need to read it well enough to decide how and if you want to engage. Another story. When I was a teacher, I had most of my classes wild and drastically different energy from one another. Loud students, quiet students, sitting all over the place. But in week one, I did something that most teachers don't do. I sat quietly in the back of the room during a group activity and I watched. I saw who spoke over others, who asked for help, who pretended not to care but was actually listening closely. That info, it told me who needed leadership opportunities, who might resist structure, and who could be peer mentors. Reading the room isn't just about avoiding drama. It's how you find opportunities. Bottom line, if you walk into every room just thinking, how do I fit in? You'll miss the most important information. But if you walk in asking, what's the dynamic here? Where do I feel safe energy? Who's showing up with respect? You'll find your place without performing for it. Final thought, the most powerful people I've ever met don't talk the most. They observe, they scan, they learn. And when they speak, it matters. Don't just show up. Observe, then move with purpose. Step 3, have scripts and boundaries ready. I'm going to give you some of my stories that will hopefully provide you with some emotional clarity and specific examples of what real life situations can look and feel like if you're entering the adult world for the first time. I'm trying to give you not just what to say, but how to say it, why it matters, and when to use it. Let's be honest, some people will cross the line. Sometimes it's a joke that's not funny, sometimes it's a backhanded compliment. Sometimes it's someone touching your hair, mocking your name, or talking down to you like you don't know anything. And let's be real, you don't always get to choose who is in your class, who you work with, or who you have to ride the bus next to. That's why you need a few go to phrases ready to go, because when the moment hits, you don't want to freeze. The power of having a script, let me tell you the truth. When you are in the moment, when your heart is racing and your palms are sweaty, it's hard to think clearly. That's why we plan ahead. Think of these scripts like your personal armor. You're not being aggressive, you are being prepared. So here's a real story. One of my students, Luis, he was working his first job at a mechanic shop. A senior coworker kept calling him Speedy Gonzalez in a fake accent. Luis wasn't sure if he should laugh, ignore it, or report it, so I gave him a script. Hey, I get it you're joking, but I'm not comfortable with that nickname. You can just call me Luis. He said it calmly, clearly, and didn't smirk to make the other guy feel better. And guess what? It stopped. No drama, no fight, just a line drawn with confidence. Try these scripts. That didn't sit right with me. Can we back up? Use this when someone says something that catches you off guard, but you want to give them a chance to self correct. I'm not comfortable with that kind of comment. Use this when the line was crossed and it needs to be acknowledged right now. I think we see this really differently, and that's okay. But I am stepping away from this one. Use this when you are not interested in debating, just exiting with dignity. I'm not okay with being touched right now. Boundaries don't need to be explained. This one works every time. Let's change the topic. Casual, neutral, strong. It sets direction without confrontation. So here's some situations to prepare for. Let's break it down further. Here are real moments where these scripts can be your superpower. So here's a situation. A classmate keeps interrupting or talking over you. You say, hold on, I wasn't finished, or I'd like to finish what I was saying if that's cool. This sets a boundary without escalating. Here's another situation. Someone makes fun of your clothes, your lunch, your voice. You say, I don't really get the joke, but I'm not cool with that. Or you don't have to like it, but respect goes both ways. Here's another situation. A coworker makes repeated offhand comments about your race, your gender, your identity. You say, that kind of joke lands differently for me. I'd appreciate it if we didn't go there. Or if you're in a formal space, let's keep it professional. Another real story. When I was teaching in Taiwan, there was a student whose name classmates kept mispronouncing on purpose. She laughed it off, but I could tell it hurt. So I pulled her aside and I said, you know, you are allowed to correct people, right? Over and over if needed. The next time someone said it wrong, she looked up and said, it's shuru, not sharu. I'll keep reminding you. That was the day she stopped blending in and started standing up. Action step. Make your personal script list right now. Open your notes app. Write down 3 phrases you can say when someone crosses a personal boundary, someone says something inappropriate, someone puts you on the spot in a group. Practice them out loud, in the mirror, with a friend, not because you are dramatic, but because you are ready. Bottom line, you don't have to fight every battle. You don't have to argue, explain, or convince people why your boundary matters. You just have to set it calmly, clearly. You are allowed to protect your peace. You are allowed to redirect a conversation. You are allowed to walk away because your strength isn't in how loud you speak, it's in how clearly you stand. Let's jump into questions I get all the time from students, but no one really talks about them before you graduate from high school. This is the real stuff. What if I walk onto campus or into a new job or a program and I feel like no one wants me there? First of all, breathe. You have a right to be in any room you walk into. You earned it, you prepared for it, and even if no one says welcome, you belong there. But I get it. That silence, those weird looks, the inside jokes, you're not part of it. It can make you shrink. Let me tell you about Deja, a student I worked with. She got into a top internship program and was the only Black girl in her group. The others already seemed to know each other. Day one, she told me she felt like wallpaper. So here's what I told her to do. Look for micro invitations. One person who makes eye contact, one person who moves over to make room. She noticed one girl smiled every time they passed each other. So the next day, Deja walked over and said, hey, I love your shoes. Are those Docs? That was it. A compliment and a question. 3 weeks later, they were eating lunch together. Action. When you feel like you don't belong, don't look for a crowd. Look for a crack. Someone who holds the door a beat longer. Somebody who asks how your day is. Start there. That's your community. So, what do I say when someone makes a passive aggressive or rude comment about my identity? This one stings, especially when you're the only in the room, the only Muslim, the only gay kid, the only girl, the only disabled person. Sometimes it's a full on joke. Sometimes it's that weird voice that people use when they're trying to mock your culture or your pronouns or your accent. Let me tell you about a moment I had as a teacher. A student once made a joke about the military, mocking PTSD right in front of me. I paused, I looked him in the eye, calm voice. I said, that doesn't sit right with me. I've seen people live through things that deserve a lot more respect. No yelling, no dragging, just truth. Here are 3 lines you can keep ready. That didn't sit right with me. I'm not comfortable with that comment. Or I'd rather switch the topic. Your peace is sacred. You don't have to educate everyone. You just have to set the line and walk forward. What do I do if I feel isolated or like I don't belong? That feeling is real and it's more common than people admit. You're not weird. You're not behind. You're just trying to find your rhythm. Let me tell you about Andre, a shy student who joined the culinary program at his trade school. Everyone already had friend groups. He told me, I feel like I showed up to a party that already started. Here's what we worked on. He sat near the same 2 people in class each day. After a few days, he said, Hey, I saw your knife skills. That was clean. Then, mind if I partner with you for the next practice round? That's how you build it, not overnight, but one micro yes at a time. So, action step, say hi to the same person twice. Compliment someone's work. Ask if you can join a study group or start one. You're not supposed to fit in everywhere. You just need the right space to land. So, how do I stay confident when the world feels so divided? Here's the truth: the world is loud, angry, divisive. But confidence doesn't come from being liked. It comes from knowing who you are, even when people try to shake that. When I was doing real estate deals in New York City, I walked into rooms where everyone looked older, richer, and more connected than I was. But I always reminded myself, I may not have the money, but I've got they can't touch. Here's an action step. Write 3 reminders of your inner strengths. I'm a good listener. I don't give up easy. I make people feel safe. That's your confidence anchor. Use it when you feel shaken. How can I be kind in a world that feels cruel? Kindness isn't weakness. Kindness is control. It's choosing how you show up, regardless of how messy the world is. When I was in the army, I had to give orders under pressure, but I always remembered to say thank you, to ask if someone was okay, even in chaos. Guess what? People followed me not just because of my rank, but because they knew I cared. Real kindness isn't about being liked, it's about knowing your power and using it with care. You can be kind and say no. You can be kind and protect your boundaries. You can be kind and still walk away when someone disrespects you. Let your kindness be your protest in a cruel world. So, what if I just want to disappear and avoid people altogether? I've been there. I think most people have, especially if you've been bullied, overlooked, or just exhausted from having to perform. You might think, it's easier just to ghost everyone, to stay silent. And honestly, sometimes it is. Sometimes the kindest thing you can do for yourself is to unplug, rest, and breathe. But don't stay in hiding too long. I had a student named Jazz. She stopped going to club meetings because she felt awkward and out of place. But one day she showed up 10 minutes early to the next one, just sat alone. A girl walked in, smiled, and sat near her. Then she asked, Hey, are you new here? That one moment reopened the door. Your action step is simple. Come back a little at a time, not because you owe anyone anything, but because the world needs what you've got. Your quiet doesn't mean you're invisible. It means you're gathering strength. A call to action. I want to encourage you and give you some next steps. If this video hits home, subscribe right now. I post real strategy for real life every week. And if you are ready to go deeper, I'm going to have a course coming up, Mastering Social Skills for College. It's not about being liked. It is about being ready, being respected, and being yourself and thriving anyway. You deserve to be seen. You deserve to be safe. And you deserve to feel powerful even in a divided world. Let's get you there together. This is Michele Ehrlich helping you grow stronger, smarter, and more connected in a world that needs your voice more than ever. Next week, how to be social at Acceptance Students Day without being awkward or fake. Thank you so much. See you in the next video.